Hello class. So now in this video we will continue our discussion over network layer, routing aspects or major classification, etc. So now in this section we will start with the concept of routing. So the routing, how can we define the routing in the network is, so definitions say it is a process of in which packets from one network to another network chosen best path as according to routing tables. So it is depend upon the routing tables which will observed by the routers and available in the network. So therefore we can say first aspect of routing is routing configuration is to be mandate if we make or set up any good network. uh, what I means here is actually suppose that R1 and R2 is the router in the current network and connected component with the R1 and R2 are PC1, PC2 or PC3. So these are connected with R1 and PC4, PC5 are connected with R2. So the meaning of good network means whenever PC4 wants to communicate with PC1, PC2 or PC3, or we can say terminal of other network, so PC4 can do it easily. So for executing this process, we must be set up a link of R1 and R2 as according where no any no any consequences of wrong configuration of networks. So we can concisely say that कि R1 और R2 को इस्टेब्लिश करते समय जो कन्फिग्रेशन हम यहाँ पर सेटअप करेंगे दैट शुड बी गुड. दैट मीन्स कि जितने भी कंपोनेंट यहाँ पर R2 से कनेक्टेड हैं वो जब चाहें तब वो R1 के कनेक्टेड कंपोनेंट से कम्युनिकेट कर सकें. सो दैट इज़ द पार्ट ऑफ राउटिंग. सो फर्स्ट पार्ट इज़ दैट कि गुड कन्फिग्रेशन ज़रूर वहाँ पर होनी चाहिए इन बिटवीन द राउटर्स. And if we see as another aspect of routing, so another aspect of routing is to find best path in the network. So another aspect is to find best path in the network. So first aspect is कि R1 और R2 के बीच में एक गुड कन्फिग्रेशन इस्टेब्लिश होनी चाहिए. और जो सेकंड पॉइंट है इंपॉर्टेंट दैट इज़ कि उसके नेटवर्क में राउटर्स के पास ये कैपेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए कि वो बेस्ट पाथ को सेलेक्ट कर लें for transmitting of packets. So in this way routing can be categorized by following types. First one is static and another is dynamic. So the basic routing types are static and another is dynamic. Dynamic is most commonly used in the network, but first we learning basic concept of static routing, or in another terms we can say a static routing is manual routing. So what is the meaning of actually manual routing is actually network admin work over the network every time, and network admin, or we can say if network admin perform or execute job of routing with chosen of best path in the network with itself. So this is known as static routing. So in brief we can say, while in other side in dynamic routing type where network admin can do own role in the dynamic type of routing, but it is not having a responsibility to execute or to provide a best path. So it can be done on the router side automatically, or we can say with the help of dynamic routing algo the best path can be selected. So how it can be executed that dynamic routing algo can select the best path. So in case of dynamic routing, we will understand this concept with the help of diagram. So I will draw it first and describe it then. So in case of dynamic routing, here is the diagram. There are 5 routers in the network A, B, C, D and E, and in dynamic concept of advertisement is used for getting or collecting information of neighbors. So the most important concept is advertisement. So advertisement will used to collect the information of neighbor information, So suppose that the router A comes to know about remote routers like B, C, D and E by pass out the information as an advertisement in the network. So A pass out the information to B and B collect or observe that A is connected to B in the network. So information at B is collected through A comma B and it will further pass to the network as an advertisement. So C can collect information of A comma B. So it is the advertisement process and it can perform with the help of neighbor information. So a neighbor of A is E. So A propagate or pass out the information to E. So E also collect information of A. So this pass information to the D. So E comma A. So D will collect the information E comma A. After that, finally, C pass this information to D and D pass the information to C. So finally, C update the value as C A B D or E and D have the value E A D B C. So we found that in this network process of advertisement finally update all the nodes in the network and all the nodes which are present in the network updated this value finally. So that means कि इस पूरे नेटवर्क में सभी नोड को फाइनली ये चीज़ पता चल जाएगी कि उससे कनेक्टेड कितने कंपोनेंट हैं जो उस नेटवर्क में प्रेजेंट हैं. So according to this procedure, dynamic routing type algo is mostly used in the network as compared to static routing type. So in all the way, advertisements make dynamic routing is more commonly used and routers which follow this approach on the basis of some protocols. And sometimes these protocols also known as routing protocols. So here now we comes to the comes to the next part is dynamic routing protocols, or in this section we continue our discussion with two basic approach of dynamic routing protocol is first one is a basic fundamental approach is distance vector and another is link state routing protocol. So both these algo is used in dynamic routing protocol. So the first we see the basic differences or we can say major differences in between distance vector or link state protocols, and we also discuss some features or properties which we discuss here. After getting with this concept, we can easily know that how link state is more efficient or more advanced than distance vector. So there are some basic parameters. On the basis of these parameters, distance vector and link state can easily differentiate. So first of all, so algo used, which is the first parameter to differentiate the distance vector or link state. So in distance vector, we use Bellman-Ford algo, and in link state, algo of Dijkstra will be used here. So both these algo work upon the single source shortest path, and in detail we discuss both these algo in the next videos. So in brief, we can say Bellman-Ford algo is work first to calculate shortest path in bottom up strategy, while in the other side Dijkstra is work upon the Prim's algo. So we work upon minimum spanning tree on this algo Dijkstra. So now another parameter is temporal changes. So another point which is most important to differentiate the distance vector or link state. So in distance vector are changes periodic, or in link state it refer as incremental. So in distance vector use of periodic changes. So when I say periodic, that means for example we take an example. So suppose that we take a diagram. A, B, C and D are connected in the network, and first A send having information of neighbors as suppose that A के पास जो neighbor की information है that is B, C, और ये information जब वो B को transfer करेगा, so it can periodically, or we can say at fixed time of every fixed time of interval, it can send this information again and again to own neighbors. So A send this information to this every time after each fixed time of interval. So this is the sense we when we use the terminology periodic. While in other side अगर हम लिंक स्टेट की बात करें तो लिंक स्टेट में सपोज अगर मेरे पास ये राउटर्स पोजीशन है ए बी सी और डी, तो इस केस में जो हमारे पास ए के पास नेबर की इन्फॉर्मेशन होगी बी और सी, इट विल सेंड दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन व्हेन एनी चेंजेस हैव बीन परफॉर्म इन दिस नेटवर्क. सो सपोज दैट कि कोई अगर यहाँ पर नोड फॉर एग्जांपल ई एक नोड है जो यहाँ पर एंटर किया किसी सर्टेन मोमेंट में इस नेटवर्क में, तो ए सेंड दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन टू ओन नेबर्स ए और सी. सो इट विल बी क्लियर दैट कि जहाँ पर लिंक स्टेट यूज़ करता है कि इन्फॉर्मेशन ये सेंड करेगा एट दैट मोमेंट जब कोई चेंज मिलेगा उसे उस नेटवर्क में. सो एक और पॉइंट यहाँ पर क्लियर होता है जो डिफ्रेंशिएट करता है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल पीरियोडिकली वो सेंड करेगा और इंक्रीमेंटली बेसिस पर वो सेंड करेगा लिंक स्टेट में. सो ऑन द अदर साइड वी कैन से information exchange. So this is the third point through which we can differentiate this. So what is the meaning of information exchange in distance vector or link state? So in distance vector, A send a B or C this information every time to B. So suppose that अगर D यहाँ पर इंट्रोड्यूस भी हो जाता है, so उस केस में ये B, C और D इस कंप्लीट इन्फॉर्मेशन को फिर से सेंड करेगा. लेकिन अगर लिंक स्टेट की यहाँ पर हम बात करें तो लिंक स्टेट यहाँ पर सिर्फ E की इन्फॉर्मेशन को ही B को सेंड करेगा. सो क्योंकि ये चेंजेस वहाँ पर परफॉर्म हुए हैं. सो अगर देखा जाए तो लिंक स्टेट इज़ बेटर दैन डिस्टेंस फैक्टर ऑन दीज पैरामीटर्स. सो इन्फॉर्मेशन एक्सचेंज की अगर हम यहाँ पर बात करें सो फुल इन्फॉर्मेशन एक्सचेंज कर दी जाएगी डिस्टेंस फैक्टर में. वाइल इन लिंक स्टेट की अगर हम बात करें सो ओनली चेंजेस विल बी कैरी फॉरवर्ड टू only changes or we can say missing information only propagate to the its neighbors. In next terminology, another most important point is that addressing. So which one addressing is used in distance vector when we transfer the information or exchange the information to its neighbor. So in addressing, distance vector use classful addressing, while in link state it's an classless. So what is the meaning of classful or classless? So actually the detail of classful or classless based addressing I will cover in the section of IP addressing. So when we present or when we discuss some points over IP addressing, then we introduce the concept of classful or classless. But in brief अगर हम यहाँ पर बात करें तो briefly हम इसको यहाँ explain कर दे रहे हैं. So the concept of for example suppose we take two routers position R1 and R2, or in classful actually use address without masking. So the concept of without mask we use the address in the network. So for example A dot B dot C dot D is the address of any particular node. So this node information carry forward to R2 through this network or through this link, and without mask it can be transferred to the R2 side. So वाइल अगर हम लिंक स्टेट में यही चीज़ को डिस्कस करें तो लिंक स्टेट में R1 और R2 जो राउटर्स होंगे वो जब यहाँ पर एड्रेस को कैरी फॉरवर्ड करेंगे A डॉट बी डॉट सी डॉट डी, इसको जब यहाँ कैरी फॉरवर्ड करेंगे तो उस केस में यहाँ पर जो राउटर्स होंगे वो यूज़ करेंगे मास्क का. सो इट होल्ड सम वैल्यू ऑफ मास्क. सो वाई वी यूज़ इट हियर एंड हाउ राउटर R2 कैन आइडेंटिफाई दैट एक्चुअल द नेटवर्क इन्फॉर्मेशन. सो इन R2 basically R2 receive ABCD in distance vector by the interface information. So R2 के पास जो इंटरफेस कनेक्टेड होंगे वो इंटरफेस की कनेक्टेड इन्फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर पहले से ही R2 के पास होगी. तो सपोज दैट ABCD अगर M2 इंटरफेस के थ्रू यहाँ पर रिसीव होता है, सो R2 इस चीज़ को जान जाएगा कि ABCD जो एड्रेस है वो पर्टिकुलरली इस नेटवर्क के थ्रू यहाँ पर रिसीव हुआ है. इन अदर साइड अगर हम लिंक स्टेट की बात करें तो वहाँ पर इस चीज़ की हमें ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती है. तो इसको हम एक्चुअली ये भी समझ सकते हैं कि इन ओल्ड डेज देयर इज़ नो एनी कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ बिग साइज ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एज कम्पेयर टू करेंट डेज. सो फॉर स्मॉल साइज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ क्लासफुल कैन बी यूज्ड where no any concept of subnetting is used widely. But in today's, subnetting can be also managed by variable length subnetting or fixed length subnetting. So because of use of these concept importance of mask is too much in the network. So that's why classless schemes is used in link state or classful used in distance vector. Now the students we will further in the next video discuss about the concept of link state or distance vector algo with the help of example. Thank you.